Yo, what is up, my beautiful people? On the table in front of me, you can see that I pretty much have a handout from all of the major manufacturers. We got GPD, we got ROG, we got the ANEO, of course we have the Steam Deck, we have one of the fan favorites, Lenovo Legion Go, we even have RIP to the low-key Max here from AYN, but one manufacturer that has a special place in my heart is none other than ONEXPLAYER. And if you've been following the channel for any time, you would know that that is because this is my first handheld PC ever. That's right, the ONEXPLAYER 1S. This is the first handheld PC I ever got all those years ago, and this is what started me on this journey to handheld insanity, as you can see here on the Barely Average Dude channel. And today we have something special. Today we have another package from none other than ONEXPLAYER, and this is a special one. I believe this is one of the world's first, and this may be the future of handheld PCs right now. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into the box. Before we do that, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe, ring that bell, all that great YouTube stuff, so I can keep bringing you more Barely Average Dude content. Let's get into this special package, you guys. Let's go. Okay, so if you see the title, the thumbnail, whatever, you already know what's inside of this box, but let's not waste any time. Let's get into this. This is none other than the new ONEXPLAYER, the F1 Pro with the new AMD chip. Handy dandy unboxing life, safety first, kids. Let's get into this. So, you know me, you guys. You know that I usually try out all the handhelds from all of the companies, but as I said before, the ONEXPLAYER devices have a special place in my heart. Now, no favoritism. It just so happens that, you know, when I first got into handheld PCs, the ONEXPLAYER was like one of the best on the market at that time. So that's what was my first handheld PC ever. And since then, I have gotten every model of ONEXPLAYER. Not every like version, like all the different processors, but one of each version. So the ONEXPLAYER 2, the ONEXPLAYER 1X1, the X1 Mini, the ONEXPLAYER Mini Pro. I've gotten one of all of the models, so they have a special place in my heart. Not saying they're the best ever, but I do have a soft spot for ONEXPLAYER. So what do we have in the box? We have a case. Not the hardest, but this is a nice case to have. I have one for my other ONEXPLAYER. Now in here we have the actual device here. Here is the ONEXPLAYER F1 Pro. Let's get into this. I'm not trying to waste any time, you guys. I like to call these unboxings the obligatory unboxings because you've probably seen an unboxing 1,000 times at this point. I usually just use these unboxings as a way to like let the community know that I have the device. So make sure you leave all your questions for future videos and request in the comments down below, because I'll try to answer those in future videos. I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to address things that you don't want to see. So let's crack open the box here, but let's see what we have in here. Okay, got a nice little paper here. Oh, Merry Christmas. Yo, I guess it is. I'm filming this on December 23rd, so it is around Christmas time. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all these people out there. That's nice that they include this. You know, that means that this is just boxed up, unless they had this in the warehouse and just had it because they knew. But this probably means that they just boxed this up, which is nice to know that they care about the community there. So I'll leave that there just as a reminder for the holiday season. Let's get into the box, put the device to the side. We have some paperwork here. Pluck that, file it to the side, as Flossie Carter always says. And then in here you're gonna get, of course, the charger and the cable. It's typical, you know, stuff here, nothing too crazy. We're gonna get the charger and a 65-watt power brick. I do like to have nice small power bricks here, and a braided cable. I do like that. I do miss when the cables used to say 1 on them. ONEXPLAYER used to put 1 on the cables, but can't complain. Nice braided cable, nice charger brick here, 65 watts. That's nice to see. So let's take all of this, let's pluck it, file it to the side, and let's get into the device itself. Like I said, I'm not trying to waste your time with this one, you guys. I'm trying to go through this as fast as possible, just so we can get to the good stuff. Here it is, you guys. The new ONEXPLAYER F1 Pro with the OLED screen. This thing is dope. So let's talk about the device. Now, before we get into, you know, the overall build quality and everything like that, let's talk about the specs for this device. Okay, so the specs is the new AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX370. No, that's a long name, not even sure what that means, but the GPU is all new. It's the 890M iGPU. We got 16 RDNA 3.5 CUs or cores, and that's versus 12 RDNA 3 cores on previous generations. As far as RAM, in this device we have 32 gigabytes of RAM, a 1 terabyte SSD. You can upgrade that over to 8 terabytes. As far as the screen, we have a 7-inch 1080p OLED 144 hertz. That's right, you guys, OLED 144 hertz at 1080p. That's going to be awesome to look at. And as far as the battery goes, we have a 48.5 watt hour battery. So not the largest battery. If you're coming from like ROG Ally X, it's going to be pretty much tiny, but this battery is pretty much the same size as the Legion Go, but it is much smaller. So go figure, you know, this battery is pretty much the same size as the Legion Go, which is an interesting fact. So now we're going over the specs. Let's just do an overview of the ergonomics and the feel, the build quality. How does it feel in the hand? Okay, this thing feels good. Let's get a palm test. How does it feel? Grip test. Very nice grip. Like the plastic is like a soft touch plastic. Like it feels very premium. It's not soft, but it just has like a unique feel on your skin. It feels, you know, much more premium than regular plastic. Overall grip feels good in the hand. It is small, and I do have large hands, as you can see here. I can pretty much palm this device, but it feels good. Like the angle of this curve here feels just right in my hands. Sticks are not the largest, you know, it's bigger than the Nintendo Switch, but smaller than the Xbox. They are Hall effect sticks, so it does feel good. Buttons feel nice and responsive. D-pad, I give the D-pad like a 7.5 out of 10. It's not like the most mushy, but it isn't like the most like snappy and responsive that I would like. Something from like a Steam Deck or like an ROG Ally X. D-pad feels good, but I think it could be better. So I give it like a 7.5 out of 10 there. Triggers, okay. Triggers, they do have good travel, but it's a little mushy for me, for my personal taste. Like the rebound is a little soft, if you ask me. Everything is like kind of soft touch here. It feels good, like the travel feels good. The rebound is just a little less tactile than I would like. Okay, the bumpers feel good, very clicky. Volume buttons also similar clickiness to the bumpers here. So everything feels good, buttons feel nice. Overall, I give the build quality and controls and buttons, I give them like an 8.5 out of 10. Like the ergonomics feels good for a small device, even for not a small device, just an average handheld. I do like large devices, but it feels comfortable in my hand. Like my fingers are not all on the device. You can see my pinky and my finger, they're hanging off here, but it feels good to actually hold. It has a nice angle going into this grip here, so ergonomics are actually great. I will say the ergonomics do feel slightly better in my hands than even the ROG Ally X. I know it sounds like I'm just hating, but the Ally X has a weird shape in the back. The way that it guides your fingers kind of like off the device, and then your pinky is kind of stuck just like on this little ledge here that is like a sharp edge here. It's actually less comfortable than the more gradual slope that we have here. If you can see here on the back, the Ally is not as gradual. You see that is a little bit more sharp, and the way that it directs your hand is not as comfortable. So I'm not just like trying to sell this device to you, but it does actually in my hand feel slightly more comfortable than the Ally X. Like the Ally X just kind of forces my hand into a slightly less comfortable position. Even though this device is smaller, it does feel more comfortable even for a large hand. And that's just my honest opinion. I don't want to make it sound like this is bad, but this just feels slightly better, slightly rounder, slightly more gradual grip there, as you can see. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into the size and weight comparisons versus some of the other devices I have here. Okay, so we got the device on now. You can see that nice, beautiful, bright OLED display. It actually is the same size and resolution as the ROG Ally X. So here is the size comparison to the Ally X. You notice that even though the screen is the same size, the device itself is a good bit smaller than the LIX, so it is more portable. If that's something that you appreciate, you will definitely like the One X Fly. Let's test the weight here just to get a sense of how heavy this thing is. I can tell you that it feels pretty light. Okay, 607 grams. I think that is less than the LIX here, but yeah, 607 grams. LIX is about 716 grams, so about 100 grams less than the LIX. That is good to see. Okay, here it is next to the Steam Deck OLED. You will notice that, of course, it's also OLED, but it is a slightly larger display at 7.4 inches versus 7 inches. This is 800p versus 1080p, so different aspect ratio as well. But look at the size. You can see that the Steam Deck is a bit larger in pretty much every dimension. Let's check out the weight here. You can see the Steam Deck OLED is around 620 grams, so not much heavier actually. The Steam Deck is pretty light, all things considered, when you compare it to 604 grams, so, or 606 grams, so only a few grams heavier. You can see that. Just test again, 620, so it's only around like 15 grams heavier. So these devices are very similar as far as weight goes. So this is a very like a dense device, considering that the Steam Deck OLED is much larger, but it is almost the same weight. Okay, here it is next to the big dog, the Lenovo Legion Go 8.8-inch display. This is a behemoth amongst handheld PCs. As you can see here, the screen is much larger. The screen itself, or just the body, is almost as big as the One X Fly itself. Check out the size between the One X Fly and the Lenovo Legion Go. Let's check out that weight. We already know that the One X Fly is 606 grams. 882 grams, so over, like, that's like 260 grams heavier, or 270 grams heavier. Pretty heavy in comparison. Okay, so here it is next to another pretty large device. This is the ONEXPLAYER X1, so these are pretty much brothers. Much larger display, pretty much the same display as the Legion Go. It is slightly smaller than the Legion Go, but not by much. So here it is next to the X1 Mini. We'll look at the weight here. Keep in mind that the One X Fly is 606 grams. This is 873 grams. So, you know, it's about, you know, 260 something grams heavier. So yeah. And then once again, here it is in size comparison. Okay, here it is next to my favorite handheld of all time, the Air Neo Kun. As you can see, this is also one of those big Chungus type devices, pretty much the same size as the Legion Go, just a little bit, you know, rounded on the edges. 8.4-inch display versus the 7-inch display here. Much larger device. I will let you know now, it is also much heavier. Let's take a look at that weight there. 965 grams there. That is over 350 grams more. That is a lot. This is a very dense, very premium feeling device. Some people will say it's too heavy, but I like the heft and the density of this device here. But it is quite a bit heavier than the One X Fly here. Take a look at the size comparison one more time. Much smaller in comparison. So yeah. Okay, and now finally a small device, a device that's finally smaller than the One X Fly. This is the GPD, very small device, a 6-inch handheld here. It does have that slide up keyboard. So yeah, let's check the weight here. 608 grams. Okay, so this is actually heavier than the F1 Pro. That is actually interesting, you guys. This is actually heavier than the F1 Pro. That is actually interesting to see. I did not expect that, but I guess that keyboard adds a few extra grams there. But yeah, even though it's smaller, it is heavier, which is actually interesting to see. Check the size difference one more time. 6-inch display versus 7-inch display. That is interesting to see. This also does feel dense. If you haven't actually held one, it does feel very dense. So I'm not surprised that the weight is pretty much the same as a larger device here. So there's a size comparison between the F1 Pro and the Win 4. And just for fun, let's compare it to the GPD Win Mini here. As you can see, this device is the same screen size, so 7 inches, 1080p, but this of course is like a 2-layer device. So I don't know if you can call it much larger, but it is, I don't know. The footprint is a little bit different because this device is weird, but if you close it, it is a smaller footprint device. I think that the Win Mini is the best small handheld PC, the best small handheld PC, because you get all the performance, you get all of the you know, the benefits of having a modern handheld PC, but it is very small and compact when you fold it up. Let's take a look at the weight here. I think this may be the first device to be lighter than the F1 Pro here. So yeah, the Win Mini wins the lightness battle. I don't know if that was a battle, but it wins. Okay, so what are my final thoughts after this, you know, first impression and unboxing of the ONEXPLAYER F1 Pro here? There's a few questions I want to answer just in this, you know, initial impressions. One, can it replace the ROG Ally X as one of the best 7-inch handheld devices? Two, is it really, you know, worth the price? It is, you know, significantly more expensive than something like the Ally X. And three, is this really the future? It's like the first handheld, I think, that's out right now with this new AMD 370 processor. It's OLED, 144 Hertz. Is this the future of handhelds? Now, let's talk about if it's if it can replace the ROG Ally X as like the best 7-inch handheld. Now, let's turn off the lights here so you can see the displays next to each other. Here is the ONEXPLAYER F1 Pro here. OLED, this is max brightness. This is also max brightness on the Ally X. As you can see, it is much brighter than the Ally X. I think the Ally X is maxing out at 500 nits, and the F1 Pro is maxed out at 800 nits. So it's significantly brighter than the Ally X, and you can see that here in this video. It's also OLED, so you're gonna get the benefits of having an OLED display. That's gonna be those perfect black levels. There's gonna be a very punchy, saturated colors. You can tweak the saturation, of course, on the LCD screen, but it's never gonna really match that contrast and those saturation levels of the OLED. So as far as the display goes, I will say hands down, the display on the X1 does look better. Now, the Ally X does have some benefits. You know, it's VRR, it's native landscape. Those are two benefits that cannot be overlooked. Now, performance. I'm gonna do a whole video of performance testing, but just based on my you know, initial, you know, background testing, and you know, you can look up videos, this does perform better than the Ally X at all of like the TDP intervals. No matter what TDP you set them both at, if they're the same, this is going to be perform better, you know, from 10 to 20% max. That's not much, but it is something to note. So performance is better, the display it looks better. Not sure if it is 100% better because of that VRR and native landscape, but it does look better, gets brighter, performance is better, it's more compact. This could be a device that could replace the Ally X for some people if they're looking for a, you know, 7-inch handheld. It feels good in the hand, performance is great, screen is amazing. It could be the device for you. Not sure if it's for everyone. Like, if this is your first handheld PC and you're looking for a 7-inch device, the Ally X is probably a safer bet. This is much more expensive. This particular model is going to cost you, like, I think $1,200, $1,300, I think, if it's not on sale. That's a lot of money for a handheld PC. That's in the territory where people start saying get a laptop. You know, I'm a handheld guy, so I would never get a laptop to replace a handheld. I would get a laptop just because I want a laptop as well. But for those people who are looking for, you know, a device to do it all, that's a lot of money. So you have to really answer that question for yourself. It's better in some ways, but not in all ways. Is it the future? I think it is a glimpse at the future. So a lot of these answers are yes and no. So can it replace the Ally? Yes and no. Is it the future? Yes and no, because this is the newest processor from AMD. It has that 144 Hertz, it's OLED. In the future, I want to see every handheld getting OLED from now on. I know we don't have all the OLED sizes, you know, on the market available, but I want to start seeing more OLED on handhelds because I think OLED is an amazing feature to have on a handheld. Now, I'm not saying it's a make or break feature. I do love OLED, but if it's not OLED, I'm not going to tell you that it's not worth it. But I just want to see more options with OLED in the future, and I think that is something that we are going to see more of moving forward. So that's definitely the future. That's just my thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think about this thing. Is it worth it? Is it the future? Do you think it's better than the Ally X? I'm gonna do a lot more videos testing this thing, putting it through its paces. So leave a comment down below of what things you want to see me to test. That's how I know what you guys want to see. Leave all those comments. Let me know what you want to see me test, what devices you want to see me compare it to. I got all the devices, so let me know what you want to see. Leave all your comments down below and let me know what you think. If you're team F1 Pro, stand up in the comments. If you're team Ally X, let me know. If you're team any other device, let me know what device you would rather have over the F1 Pro. Let me know everything in the comments. And as always, like, subscribe, ring that bell, all that great YouTube stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Man, this OLED screen is just amazing. Look at that. Anyway, peace.